So today we are going to be using a weapon that is begging for one mod in particular, but so far it has yet to receive it. So it is not the 10mm pistol that you currently see in front of you, but it is very similar, being the 10mm submachine gun. Now 10mm is cheap to craft, plentiful to find, especially for your low-level players, new players early on in your playthrough, so it is quite a useful weapon. The 10mm pistol is also quite a popular choice to go for your pistol builds, but you don't really ever see the submachine gun around the place. And the biggest reason for that is generally the fact that it has no suppressor mod available. So for your stealth commando builds or anything with stealth, it's just not really a viable option to use and not a great option overall to go for. Basically all the other commando weapons, you can slap a suppressor onto them. Combat rifles, fixers, handmaids, assaults, even radium gets a suppressor. But sadly, the 10mm submachine gun doesn't. There's also another weird thing about it, which I'll get into later, but I wanted to take this gun for a spin and see how it performs on a non-stealth build, basically, because even one of the unique legendary rewards you get during your playthrough is Perfect Storm, which, you know, has a unique legendary effect on it. So clearly, cool weapon. They wanted to give it some love, but then no suppressor kind of really hurts it. So we do have an anti-armor version roll here with AP refresh. Did chuck the prime receiver on here because we'll go mess around with some Scorched Beasts as well to see how it performs there. But yeah, that's the roll that we're going to be using here. Those are the mods in case you were interested. And making our way through West Tech, Super Mutants not posing that much of an issue here for our submachine gun. But again, if it had that suppressor option, it'd just be a heck of a lot more efficient on the ammo usage, because you'd be getting those sneak damage bonuses, so using less ammo and keeping yourself alive a bit better as well with that stealth, but still getting through the super mutants here with not much issue. Over to some robots, same thing, dealing with them, no problem. The sentry bot, of course, always, pretty much every weapon does not have an issue there. But yeah, robots as well, your regular enemies, aren't going to be posing that much of an issue for the 10mm sub here, even unbloodied, even unstealth. So yeah, still a pretty decent weapon to rock if you're going for a more full health kind of orientated build. But real quick, if you're enjoying this, then hey, consider liking and subscribing. But let's get back to the video. And over to some Scorched and Scorched Beast, because, well, why not? But yeah, deal with the Scorched, no issue. Again, we are getting that extra damage from the prime receiver here. And then, of course, the Scorched Beast up in the sky. That just refused to land for me. But yeah, 10mm dealt with that as well. Pretty decent performance all around, can't really complain that much. It also might be worth it with a 10mm sub to do something a bit odd and go for lesser used perk cards, since the commando ones aren't going to be doing that much for it here, especially against your regular enemies. So swapping over to stuff like close sights or exterminators, which pretty much never sees any usage, might actually make a bit more sense on a weapon like this. Now the second issue is that even with the correct mods applied, I don't know if it's just me, but it seems to chow through your AP really quickly. So using this exclusively in VATS is also not that great of an option. So having AP refresh on the weapon running perk cards like Grim Reaper Sprint, pretty much necessary, at least in the time that I was using this. It did help out quite a bit, but even then I was still running out of AP a lot of the time. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. Compare this to running a handmaid or a fixer or even an assault. It just seems like you get so much more out of those with VATS than you do with the 10mm sub. On the other hand, the 10mm pistol is really cheap in VATS. So it really sucks that the submachine gun seemed to get screwed over. And now that I think about it, even the actual submachine gun also gets a suppressor. So yeah, really odd here for the 10mm submachine gun. But performance isn't terrible. Again, cheap ammo, plentiful and easy for low levels and new playthroughs. Here's a cool looking weapon, but that's always subjective. Some people may find it cool looking, others might think it looks like trash. But regardless, I had a good time using the weapon, and by no means is it bad. But again, most builds lean towards stealth and bloodied, and then with this being unable to stay quiet, and then also putting yourself in bloodied ranges, just not an ideal setup for most people. This is more suited for fuller health builds, free aim, run and gun kind of player, which is cool, but again, could have just given it a suppressor at least, so you have both options like you do with pretty much all the other commando weapons. But yeah, let me know if you use the 10mm sub a lot, and if it annoys you that it doesn't have a suppressor option either. But hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, then hey, consider liking and subscribing, sticking around for more Fallout content. As always, thank you very much to all the channel members for your support. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.